bathtub. Oh, I just hope to God I get clean. Blood on the rug when I wake up. Was that a nightmare or a wet dream? Cause I've seen some things that I'd rather not get into detail about. For now, I just hope I can leave them out. Cause I feel like I've been drowned, shot, stabbed, killed. Still smiling like everything's chill. I've been blown up, thrown up, overdosed off pills. Still smiling like everything's chill. Got a bite of cyanide on the side of every meal. Still smiling like everything's chill. I can hang myself off a building with a belt. Still everything's chill. Cause I know if life is a bitch, death must be a piece of ass. Death must be a piece of ass. Death must be a piece of ass. But at least it lasts. But at least it lasts. But at least it lasts. So just clap your hands if you really wanna die. I just want something permanent. I think me and life have a love and a hateful relationship. I feel grateful to be alive, but don't like how I have to live. I'm too lazy for suicide and too selfish to not exist. I feel basically I admire the fire I hold within. There are places inside my mind that would terrify Stephen King. I feel crazy and then I'm fine. Who knows what the nighttime will bring? It's amazing to me. I lie to myself, but I stop to think. It's hard moving on, but I'm smarter from the past. If I gotta die young, I'll be a martyr for the facts. If I'm reincarnated and I gotta come back, tell God 5 more minutes, I just wanna nap. Cause I've seen some things that I'd rather not get into detail about. For now, I just hope I can leave them out. Cause I feel like I've been drowned, shot, stabbed, killed. Still smiling like everything's chill. I've been blown up, thrown up, overdosed off pills. Still smiling like everything's chill. Got a bite of cyanide on the side of every meal. Still smiling like everything's chill. I can hang myself off a building with a belt. Still everything's chill. Cause I know if life...
What's going on? What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. Let me jump into this pretty quick because we are coming into NYSE Open here in just a minute or so. Volume looks good. Let's get that nice mic close. Get that nice boomy sound for you guys. Welcome back. If you are new, my name is Zach. This is Real Deal Futures. First things first, I'm not a financial advisor. Trading's risky. Most traders lose money. Make sure you read the full disclaimer. Nothing here is a suggestion or recommendation to do anything. Don't copy what you see. Again, I'm not a financial advisor and I don't provide financial advice. I'm just an idiot on YouTube. Let's take a look at MNQ. Get pretty zoomed out, kind of see what we're looking at on the daily to start this trading session off, man. Coming right in, about 5 seconds to the open. Yeah, man, pretty interesting bullish run off these lows that we're having here, man. Pretty interesting bullish run. Came in, checked out this high up here, and we have since been pulling back, right? We know what happened at the open of trading sessions so far through Asia and London. We have kind of drifted lower, right? We came in, put this high in yesterday, nice bullish pop at the open after a nice bullish run overnight through Asia and London. Cracked up, didn't really find my way into this long, right? We had some opportunity real close here off the open, and then we eventually did push up further after this consolidation, into the middle of the day. But pulled back off, dropped back off into the afternoon, closed out the session on the low side, and now have come back down below yesterday's open, NYSE Open. Have stayed below VWAP, a little bit of a sell-off here in London. Came back up here right at 8:30 a.m. We had high-impact news. Checked out VWAP and have just been consolidating here. Looks like we're testing the lows right here, 9:31 a.m. Eastern in about 15 seconds. Going to be watching this from, going to keep my routine going that I've had this week. Going to be watching this from a little bit higher time frame. Really just trying to take into consideration the volatility, the larger movement that we've been seeing out of the market. We got a lot going on with U.S. politics right now. We have a new president in the White House who's rolling out a whole bunch of different stuff, and we are trading a U.S. indice right here on the NASDAQ Micro Futures contract. And market's been moving, man. Market's been moving. So again, let's just do some higher time frame analysis right off the bat because I'm not going to jump in here. Times when you see me get involved really quickly in the market are most likely when we see a lot of volatility come in. Didn't want to pull that yesterday because, again, I was being a little bit cautious. If we see a lot of volatility come in within the first 5 to 10 minutes, maybe I get really aggressive. I have some levels on Bookmap. I have something, really showing me a good indication we're going to move in one direction over the other, and a good way to structure risk. All those things line up. Maybe I get involved really early, but I don't like to use up all my chips. Not to make a gambling reference, but to use up all my chips and then not have any chips left to bet when the right hand shows up. Right? Got to keep yourself in the game. So just looking at a higher time frame analysis. What's going on? Starting at the daily, right? We'll do some top down. You've got my charts here. If you're new, very, very simple, almost monotone candles. I have 3 things on this chart. Visible range volume profile, traditional volume down here, and a VWAP line. That's it. Other than that, I've got zones, horizontal levels, areas of interest. Prior day high and low are the only 2 objective ones on my chart. Everything else is a discretionary area that I want to be paying attention to. But looking at the daily, right? If we zoom way, way out, we know, stonks go up, right? U.S. indices traditionally go up over time. That's been holding true for at least where we've been month over month. If we look at this little consolidation, this little channel to the downside, right? I've been talking about this for the last couple of weeks, really. We've really broken this downtrend to the upside, right? We broke above really nicely on the 17th here, continued higher, pulled right back down to test this. If you were a trend line guy, this probably would have worked out really nicely on a higher time frame, and really have since continued higher. Don't need that trend line to tell me that. We can see lower highs being put in and lower lows being put in. Some support, buyers stepping in down here, right? Really beautiful price action market structure when you look at the daily chart, at least for this move to the upside right here. It was really showing its hand. So again, buyers stepped back in and we drove this thing higher, right? As we start to drop down, you can see the same thing on the 4-hour chart, right? Maybe you say, oh, the daily's too zoomed out for me. You can see the same thing on the 4-hour chart. And since then, we have been on this uptrend higher, right? This leg higher as we kind of look at a more intermediate but still higher time frame trend. We are pushing higher, right? Higher lows, higher highs. Even if you want to be simpler, stupidly simpler than that, when you zoom at look at this chart in this time frame and this zoomed in, I would say that's going up, right? It looks like kind of what's happening here, right? Up and to the right. So yesterday we followed that, and today, as we drop down lower, maybe like the 15, we pulled back off. Pulled back off the high that was put in yesterday in the middle of NYSE session. We have sold. We opened up and really kind of drifted, not really too much direction through Asia session, and then drifted lower for London Open. So we pulled back. This is an area of high volume, right? Decent volume traded here, at least for this morning. We've kind of stalled here, started to consolidate below VWAP at the open, right in the middle of yesterday's range, right in the middle of yesterday's low and high, right? Coming off of the daily candle. Just look at that one more time for you guys. Here's yesterday's candle on the micro contract, right? MNQ. We are, pretty much dead set in between that, opening up with a bearish candle. So, not a super duper strong indication of one way or the other based on price action and market structure, at least here, right here, right now. I'm going to be waiting to see what happens. I try to stay neutral coming into all these sessions, even if we are ripping to the upside, if we're selling off really harshly. I try to stay somewhat neutral. I don't like to form a super strong bias and say, I'm only looking for buys or I'm only looking for sells. I think it'd be really helpful to do what I just did. Take a look at higher time frames, do some top-down analysis, try to stay objective. Which way is the market moving right here, right now? Is there a trend or are we chopping around? Are we trending up? Are we trending down? As I start to drop down to lower time frames, what does that look like? Are we in the middle of a super duper bull market, like looking, really zoomed out, but the last 2 days we've sold off, right? We've erased, a few hundred points, and we're opening up now, below VWAP, below yesterday's low, right? You want to take a look at that. Are all trends lining up? So right here, right now, a couple trade theses for the day, ideas, potential things that I could see happening. I could see us pulling back down to check out prior day's low, continue this, kind of sell off into the US Open here, and see some movement down below this overnight session low that we put in right here, right at 21,855. Could present some, low hold time shorts towards prior day low, being below the session open, back towards yesterday's low and near the open of the trading session on the prior day. I could see that happening. I could see us finding buyers right here and just continuing what we've seen day over day, which is the nice pull up. More than anything, what I'm a little bit cautious of is a lot of chop today, right? We had some news, and we do have Trump speaking at an economic summit at 11 a.m. Eastern. That's in an hour and a half. So kind of right in the middle of this session, we get him speaking, which is classified as high impact, classified as a red folder news event. So let's just double check on that. Yeah, 11 a.m. We've got natural gas storage, which at 10:30 a.m. Eastern, which is not really a big deal. But we got President Trump speaking at the World Economic Forum annual meeting. So that is classified, at least what I'm looking at, as something that can move the market. Again, depends on what you're trading, but we are here on a U.S. indices. So let's just take a look and see what Financial Juice has. Yeah, Financial Juice has that one marked off as well. So could get a little bit dicey, just depending on, I don't know if it's a preset speech. I don't know, exactly what he's going to be touching on, but, it's anything where someone's speaking, right? Like sometimes when Jerome Powell speaks and then he answers questions, it can really throw the market in a very unpredictable way. Market's hanging on every word, trying to interpret what, they're saying, the comments they're making, and what that means for the U.S. market. And it can rapidly change, right? Maybe they say something and then they kind of backtrack on a question. So we'll have to see what that does at 11 o'clock. I mean, I don't know that I'm not going to avoid trading through that. I would just structure my risk and handle it. Just let it go and kind of be on the right side or the wrong side of it and let the trade play out. But maybe another reason to zoom out a little bit, So we're in a pretty tight area of consolidation, not including that wick to the upside or including that wick to the upside. 65-ish point, 60 to 65-ish point, area of consolidation here since about 4 a.m. Eastern. Let's see, do we start to crack to the upside, crack to the downside? I'm not looking to jump in long here for a breakout above this consolidation or short. I want to see what starts to happen here. That's my game plan. So yeah, good. A couple ideas. We start to break down from this area consolidation. Maybe we get some structure to the downside. We can look for a low hold, low time frame hold short to the downside. We start to form structure to the upside. Again, if you're long by the dip, maybe this is your opportunity from right here. You say, I'm going to run this trade, all the way into the day. I want to go with, 75 point stop loss, something nice and wide. Get me, 100 ticks, 20 ticks, 25 points below the low. And, I'm going to run this towards prior day high. I think we're going to continue this move. I think we're going to break out and run, and this is my beautiful setup here. I want to allow for a wick down below here, or maybe not. Maybe you go for something like that. I'm going to wait for structure either way. That's my game plan coming into the open. A little bit more patience, a little bit calmer. I'm going to look for some structure to the upside, structure to the downside. This right here really is where I don't want to be taking a trade, right? Right in the middle of that type of sideways price action, looking at the 5-minute, the 15-minute. So opening up somewhat strong, right? Here's our 930 candle. Back to VWAP. Kind of muted though, right? Not like super duper volatile here. Not massive movement. So we'll stay patient. We'll see. I'm going to be very flexible today. Gun to my head in this type of market, just what we've been seeing over the last couple days, and that run up after the election, and then kind of pullback and now continuation. Looks long to me. Looks like we want to just keep this strength going right here, right now. Nice correction after yesterday. Let's see. I do want to be cautious of chop. Right? I really don't want to just be caught on a daily candle that kind of chops right in between the yesterday's candle's range. I'd like to see some structure and some movement, and indication that buyers or sellers want to take this thing higher. Looking at Bookmap, favorite order flow tool. Take a look at this bad boy together. Make sure you can see this. Yeah, we've got a couple levels close, but nothing major, right? We don't have, like what we were seeing over the last couple days, 250, lots, 300 on the book anywhere. We got some up here right around the 919, 920 level. That might be an area we want to go trade above VWAP and kind of just make a decision on what we need to do there. But this algorithmic stuff right around price really zoomed in, I don't pay attention to. Let's see if I can get Bookmap not to crash. It's been doing that sometimes. Yeah, nothing crazy, right? Nothing crazy. Up to about 100 points above and below price. Nothing nuts on the book. Nothing really wild. We got a couple stacks of orders all the way down towards the 800 level. We got a couple on the book on levels on the way up to the 22,000 level. Right now, looks like the most is stacked right above. Looks like we might want to go tag that right now. If you don't know what you're looking at right here, this is Bookmap. This is an order flow tool. This is level 2 data, and we're looking at the depth of market over here. These are resting orders above and below price on the book for the NQ contract that we're watching right here. You have price levels, and you have your order book right here. These are volume profiles. We got some cumulative volume delta down here. Not really going to worry about that. But this is your heat map. We have your price displayed by best bid and best ask. You have volume bubbles showing where volume is being traded, and we're able to see how price reacts around certain levels that have large orders stacked on them, right? We're about to see this one right here. We got some orders coming up above price. This to me looks like we might want to break VWAP unless we find a lot of resistance right here and start to continue through to fill some of these sell orders that are stacking up above price. That's how I would read this right now. So many different ways you can interpret this. So many different tools. It gets very, very advanced. I take a stupidly simple, dumb guy way to look at this stuff. I go, ooh, look, a big lit up like a Christmas tree level on the chart. A lot of orders there. I probably want to pay attention to that. Maybe we move towards that. If and when we do, I want to be cautious of some volatility. There's likely to be some volume traded there because there's a lot of orders. Sometimes it's in an obvious spot. Sometimes it's not. But I do like to see it kind of like right here as market is moving. What happens when we come in here? Do these orders stay on the book, right? Because there's also spoofing. This stuff comes on and off. This is your live market right here. This is all historical. So this is what matters right here, right? Relative to this book. Easy to read. If you guys are interested in Bookmap, you can check out link down below. I'm affiliated with Bookmap. Can be helpful. Again, I don't create the entire rhetoric around why the market's doing and what it's doing and how it's moving in relation to Bookmap and order flow. I just take a rough look at it and I say, ooh, nice big level. I want to pay attention to that. Maybe I don't have that marked on my chart right here at 950. We got 100 lots, 200 lots in the book. I want to pay attention to that. What is up? What time is Trump speaking? 11 a.m. 11 a.m. Eastern. 11 a.m. Eastern. If you guys want to chat, feel free, hit subscribe. I ignore trolls and dumb questions. But if you got good questions or stuff that's productive, I'm happy to talk to you. Feel free, hit subscribe, hit like, help me out. You don't have to do anything. I'm free here every day, 9:30 a.m. Eastern. Almost every day. That's my game plan. Trading live with you guys, giving you my full approach, strategy, how I mark my chart, showing you live executions, showing you wins, showing you the losses, showing you break evens, nice run-ups, blown accounts, everything. That's the game plan. I don't claim to be the best trader and have everything figured out and have the magic system. I think that would be a dumb thing to say. I'm just going to be here showing you how and what I do. Trading prop firm accounts for the majority, at least for right here, right now. And a 50K XFA on a TopstepX account right now. So test a VWAP, pull back down, and again, kind of chop around this area of consolidation. I have no setup, and I don't really have one coming. right? I'm not going to trade a breakout out of this area of consolidation. That would kind of be the first potential thing, you know. You could be seeing this as a, you know, break above, pull back down, and then maybe we're going to continue if we start to get really zoomed in, right? You could say, I think we're going to break out to the upside of this area. I don't think, you know, VWAP's not holding. We're getting some closes above on the 5-minute here on MNQ, and this is a good pullback, and I want to structure a long, maybe up towards this kind of next level of area of high volume around the 950s. I could see that potentially, right? Just like as we were speaking, we're kind of seeing it. Maybe we're entering on a pullback down there. You want to hold to this level up here, kind of what we cracked right up to and then found a little bit of resistance before continuing right off the open yesterday. You want to go for a long, something like that. That's like rough idea. I think it's a little bit risky, right? A sweep down below these lows, take anybody out if we're going to continue. Could be in store. We did get a little bit of a crackdown here. Not that bad. So, you know, there's a trade like that. It is something you could hold for the larger move on the day if you wanted to start trying it. That's not a bad setup, right? Not a bad setup, but not really a trade entry for me. Consolidation below VWAP, you know, selling off through Asia and London. I'm cautious to see what we do around this area. If we chop for a while, I don't want to be caught trying to buy the highs, trying to sell the lows. You know, getting involved right in the middle of this area, and unless you have a strong trade thesis to say, I think we're going to go up or down on a higher time frame, right? You know, throughout the day, throughout the session, and you want to get involved in the middle of it with a wide stop loss, it can be a little bit dicey. But gun to my head, I'm long with a stop loss, you know, somewhere down below this level. That would be my initial play. But I don't have a gun to my head, so I'm chilling out with you guys. Hopefully at no point do we have that happen live. Watching what? ES and take a look at ES. Let's look at the 15-minute. Stronger, much stronger move out of ES. Right, above VWAP, same kind of action coming into pre-market after London or during London session. Chopped around VWAP, but so far much stronger movement out of ES. Looks like we want to push the upside. And looking at Dow, much stronger move out of Dow, right? Very, very choppy session yesterday. Choppy overnight, and we are pushing to the upside right at the open. So NASDAQ's lagging. NASDAQ is lagging. I don't really pay too much attention to correlated markets. I don't. I think it can be helpful. I think some traders do really well with it. They're going to pay attention to what ES and Dow are doing. They're going to pay attention to what gold is doing. You know, they're going to use all of that to their advantage. You're going to watch the Mag 7 really closely if they're trading NASDAQ. For me, I like to glance at it like I just did. I have a TradingView watch list now where I do have ES, NASDAQ, and Dow, and then I got the Mag 7. That's it. Just to get a feel, right? Like, is there one, you know, did something crazy happen with one of the major underlying stocks, specifically on NASDAQ? You know, earnings came in wild, or they, you know, they're going bankrupt, and, you know, not that happens. You know, but somebody's down like 5%, you know, at the open, and it's kind of going to drag it. Maybe that could be helpful, but as a whole, it's just more information. I like to use the levels. I like to look at the chart. I'm very, very technical based. And I don't take too much of that stuff into consideration. I think you get caught a lot of times trading the wrong chart, right? Like we start watching ES. Right? Here's an example for today. We go, oh man, ES is breaking to the upside. Look at how strong ES and you know, Dow is really pushing the upside. NASDAQ's lagging. You know, maybe somebody says, oh, that's a great indication. Buy now because we're going to blast off. We're going to follow that. Maybe, right? Maybe. A lot of the times that can happen. Maybe you look at it differently. You say, oh, I'm going to be cautious buying on NASDAQ because it's going to get drugged down today. But for me, I end up getting caught trading the wrong chart. I'm looking at ES, I'm looking at Dow, and I'm executing on NASDAQ rather than just watching what's happening right here, right now. What is this, you know, what is this instrument telling me? What is price telling me? And all the tools that I'm using. So I'm cautious of that. But I'll take a glance, take a look, you know, just kind of see where we're at. Yeah, right here, right now, it looks like we want to break to the upside. Looks like we want to break to the upside. At least go check out 25 where we've got some liquidity. Maybe push the highs. Again, not a bad trade like we talked about. Break and hold above VWAP. You enter on a pullback down here. This is the first thing that I mapped out. Like I said, someone was forcing me to take a trade. I'm long from here, stop loss way down here. I just don't love this as a trade setup. I don't love the opportunity to the upside. I think at best to a point where I'd want to start managing, I'm going to get a 1-to-1. And I am somewhat counter on this low time frame move starting from middle of the day yesterday. Overall, I'm still bullish. I think we're going to continue to push. I'm cautious that we don't today. I'm cautious of some chop. We've had some big movement to the upside. I'm cautious the market's going to take a breather and even potentially just kind of consolidate and hesitate before we get Trump speaking later at 11 a.m. Eastern. So I'm going to be patient, as I've been with you guys on a couple of these. All right, third live session I've been running back this week. Took a win on the first one. Had a trade open that we watched for like an hour and a half. Left it open and then continued to call out the management in Discord. That was like a $400 some odd trade. Nothing alive yesterday, and nothing so far here. But I appreciate you guys hopping on. Thanks for being here. Feel free, hit like, hit subscribe, help me out, get some more people on here, and hop on the free Discord, man. 1,400 members, 100% free. Could be asking questions, talking to me, getting my charts, info, everything that goes into my trading, all free. If you're interested in trading with prop firms, interested in paid software, stuff that I use like Bookmap, feel free to take a look down below in the description. There is a bunch of links and codes. Check that stuff out. But again, man, no requirement to do anything. That's the great thing about being here live on YouTube. Love that. You want to support me, help me out on something that you get a discount on? That's cool. If not, no pressure. We can still be friends. You could hop in Discord and we can chat it up. Yeah, watching this kind of break above, pull back down. Choppy. Long still looks okay, but again, not a really massive move off the open. Long looks really okay to me because of this, kind of wick down, hold above VWAP, pull back down into this area, and then maybe continuation. Two ways to take that. One would be waiting for kind of what we're seeing right now, right? The break up, retest, and look for an entry down here, stop loss down below here, anticipating this move, this breakout. Second would be entering on the breakout, maybe with stop loss, closer to the lows of whatever candles formed the pullback, right? So kind of two options there just to like talk about mapping out trades. That would be option one, right? Entering on the pullback, maybe stop loss down here, targeting maybe an initial move up to this level, the 950s, and then back up towards 22,000 and above. Option two would be on the breakout, right? We hold above VWAP, we pull back down, test this level multiple times, and then continue. And you're buying into buying pressure right there, breaking above highs again. And you get a stop loss, maybe somewhere tighter in here. Maybe you still go super wide, but probably would be somewhere tighter in here, whatever lows formed. So, one is going to give you a much better entry, right? A much more aggressive entry with a, better risk structure, but maybe is a lower probability trade. Maybe. The second, you're waiting for more price action. You're waiting for, the market to show you its hand even further. And you're entering on the breakout with a stop loss at a worse spot or all the way down at the original spot, but with a much wider risk. So kind of two entry styles there. Two very, very basic entry styles if you were looking here at the 5-minute chart. But glad we're not in longs yet. this is definitely not breaking and holding to the upside, at least right here, right now. Coming back down to test the lows of the session so far. Let's see. Do we start to sell off with some momentum? Like I talked about, maybe we get some structure down towards prior day low. We are going to see more of this correction coming back down. Market's going to want to pull back down, towards this level that was tested pretty seriously a couple times. Could absolutely see that. Again, not going to be a seller or a buyer, just breaking out. That's my game plan. Hang tight. But like I talked about on the last ones and like I talked about yesterday, I will map out exactly what I'm looking for, the levels I'm looking for the trade into the afternoon. I have been getting much more aggressive on a longer hold trade or trades into the afternoon, on a larger movement, right? So if I don't get a trade on here or multiple trades on here, which I think we might get some movement as Trump starts talking. If I don't, especially after initial balance as well, I like to play that. If I don't, I'll map out exactly what I'm looking for. And then you can jump in the free Discord right here, right now, or after if you like, and you'll get the management for that trade. Anything that I put on and close out, I will do my best to call out and continue to tell you how I'm going to manage it, give you updates, and I will map out what I'm looking for. You'll know exactly the trade setup that I'm looking for that I will most likely take if the market does whatever it's supposed to do or whatever I'm waiting for. And you'll get some of that management potentially from me in the free Discord, right? Try not to make promises, right, outside of me being here right now live with you guys. Retesting these lows, checking out. Mr. Rains, must have barely found good entries. My goal this month is not to lose my XFA, not trading, but keep learning. Yeah, oh no, I appreciate that. Thank you. Absolutely. Appreciate you being in Discord and being here. Yeah, nothing wrong with that, right? Nothing wrong with just, just kind of holding on to your capital, right? If the market's not, everybody's different. And some people are going to be range traders, trend traders. Some are going to do good with low volatility, high volatility, all different, right? So if the market's not giving you what you need, preserve capital. Live to fight another day. Hold on to your chips, right? Not to use the gambling reference again, because you can't bet if you don't have any chips. So, don't use them on the bad hands if you're playing poker. That's the thought process. So nothing wrong with that. This year's been, or so far, really coming into, all the way into the end of January, pretty back and forth for me. Nothing really exciting. I've been looking to put more risk on in my XFAs, looking for good setups. I got to get a little bit more comfortable about how and when I'm taking these, longer hold trades, kind of exactly what I'm looking at, and, the larger risks that I'm going to put on for the lower frequency of trades. But yeah, it's been interesting. NYSE session's been tough, man. We've had some really, really tough sessions. Expansion, choppiness. We've had big moves through Asia and London, and then like nothing in NYSE. So, no excuses. Play like a champion, right? You got to own your results. But yeah, you try during those times. At very worst, you just have maybe some missed opportunity, but to be holding on to your capital, right? For when the market is going to come back for you and set up for you. I try to make that specific because everybody's going to be different. But yeah, that's the game plan. Some people will structure risk, just between accounts. Maybe they're working with, multiple different levels of accounts, combines, challenge accounts to XFAs, multiple XFAs. Maybe, when the time is right, you're trading more aggressively in XFAs. Maybe you're not trading them at all when you're just not feeling it or the market's not giving you what you need. You don't trade anything, or you just trade a practice account. Maybe you just trade combines, right? That's what I like to do. If there's a situation that's really wild in the market, or maybe right before, during, after a U.S. holiday, I'm like, you know what? Let me just keep it to a couple combines. Try to stack some of those up on the back. If it works out, great. You still capitalize, a little bit on making some progress for yourself, but you're not putting big risk on the line. It's a benefit, I think, of trading with props, where you can spread risk around and you can manage it in many different ways, right? It's not just like increasing or decreasing it by risk per trade or risk per day. You can copy trade, you can not copy trade, you can trade funded accounts, you can trade combines, you can not trade at all. Yeah, this is looking weak. We came down, tested this low, and now we look like we want to break. Why? Because of that, right? Came back down, buyer stepped right back in, come back up to VWAP, all the way back down to this low. This looks like a break of these lows for a potential move lower. That is what I'm seeing on this. It looks like 850s has some liquidity, right down around the lows. I think we come down, sweep this overnight session low, and the initial move, at least here on NQ, is going to be to the downside. Can we just find support right here at the lows? Absolutely. This isn't a good risk structure for anything for me. Really, really aggressive on lower time frames. You know, we get the 100-tick chart back out. Maybe you look at something like that on the 1 minute. I could see that as a play. I don't have a thesis that says this thing's going to sell off completely today, so I don't know this is something that I would want to hold on to, but it's not a bad setup. Now that I'm eyeballing it, just take a look. No, there's not a lot down below. Ooh, 800. We got some way down here. Yeah, this is dicey. You know, this is dicey. This is getting zoomed in, and so far the market hasn't really done much. Right here, right now, I think a break to the downside. But again, like I said, gun to my head, I'm long up here, pushing to the upside. Why am I not taking that trade? Because I'm concerned about this. This does look like a breakdown. Following this trend to the downside, it is lining up with that. A little bit counter to the higher time frame trend. I'm not going to sell this breakout, although this is an opportunity to do that, right? It could be filled up here. Stop loss just above session highs. You say, hey, if we find buyers here and come all the way back up, I'm either dead wrong because we're going to sweep this high again and we're going to move higher, or we're just going to chop around, or at very least, we're not breaking out to continue right here. But that's not a terrible play right here to the downside. Again, I'm going to hold, right? I'm going to hold for some of the movement. I'm going to miss the knife, right? Here's the risk. If a missed opportunity, this thing can knife down, and I'm not going to find a way in. Kind of a little bit like yesterday where we were pushing up and I was patient. But I would be losing a long if I was losing if I took a long, and I wouldn't be too happy that we're not breaking out right here to the downside if I got short. So patience in the middle of this, you know, whatever this is, this choppy back and forth consolidation range. It's an opportunity, but not for me. Not something that I'm going to take. We do have 100 all the way down at 800. We start to sell off from here and push lower. That looks like an opportunity to the downside. I want to see, do we get some more structure? Maybe reject again. Maybe sweep this high and then come all the way back down. I'd be more comfortable looking for a trade. Like conversely, had we like really cracked down, buyer step in, and then we see a huge engulfing candle, I'm looking long. Why? You know, here's the basics of that setup. Here's the top of your consolidation. Here's the bottom. Here's a traditional movement, right? We kind of chop around. Maybe we do some of that. Before we crack to the downside or crack to the upside more often, or a really nice move to give you a great way to structure risk, is we come outside of it, fake everybody out, take everybody out that was getting short, and then come lower. If I'm going to sell a breakout or buy a breakout, I like to buy or sell after a movement like that. Gives you a really clean way to structure risk, and you know, move for a continuation out of that zone. Can the market just expand like it did a week or two ago for a while and blow a whole bunch of people's accounts on social media? Absolutely. But this is still a setup to the downside. It's looking weak. But that would be first potential trade out of this. A crack above or below the highs that we put in here for overnight session. Let's call it overnight session highs, right? This 8:30 a.m. News candle and this 4:15 a.m. candle over here. A crack below, and then a really strong rejection with structure and momentum and volume coming in one direction. I would look to trade that with a stop loss below and a hold for a larger move. I don't want to be selling the breakout because we're kind of expanding here for NYSE session so far. Right, here's 9:30. No, we're not expanding yet. We didn't come down and sweep this low. Held that bad boy. Cracked the 15-minute opening range high. If you were trading the orb to the upside today, that would have been frustrating. That would have been frustrating. Maybe you go with a stop loss on the other side and you're still alive. That's not a bad idea. But, what does this give us so far to work with? Maybe you're, scalping on the way down, scalping on the way up. But let's watch it. Yeah, I'm tempted short on this. I am tempted short on this. But I'm going to hold. I'm going to hold and wait. Wait to play the better hand. Hang out with you guys. See if we can't get something on here. Again, was a little bit cautious overall. Just my subjective interpretation of the markets. Cautious of some chop today. We had some movement last few days, and I'm cautious about chop ahead of a news event, right? Ahead of Trump speaking in about 50 minutes. 5-0, 11 a.m. Eastern. What's up, guys? In Discord, typical January PA printing barcodes. Yeah, I see that. Choppy, right? Barcoding. Costa, what's up? Watching my TV. All good, man. Thanks for hanging out. I appreciate you. Again, if you guys aren't in the free Discord, we got like 1,400 members, 1,409 members. People joining every day. It's awesome. Got guys chatting, sharing detailed analysis, charts, what they're seeing, the good, the bad. Talking about making money and taking payouts, talking about blowing up accounts, right? All the reality. Save the Lambos for social media. NQ, I'm seeing a bearish wedge. Yep, I can see it. DBK, we got the mouse pad chart patterns out. That's cool. A reminder, kind of just of kind of what you're looking at if you're a chart pattern guy. Yeah, nothing crazy on Bookmap. Some liquidity above and below, but it's pretty evenly matched. Not massive stack right down below this area of consolidation or right above. And then as we get closer, more coming on the book that tells me, hey, man, we cracked this. I think we're coming into that. And, we got a chance to go and gobble that up. So nothing crazy. Outside of, as we get down lower into the low 800s and the 800, we've got some on Bookmap. Show you what that looks like. Sure you guys can see it. Yeah. Looking at this down here. Cracking to the upside again. This is some decent orders in the book, right? Relative to everything else that's on here. We got some up all the way back up at 22,000. We got some coming on the book, getting a little bit heavy above. But I like to see really big stacks of orders to pay attention to. Choppy PA. I will agree with the guys in Discord. Choppy price action, man. Yeah, again, from this zone, the only thing this presents is an opportunity to buy right in the middle of the range, right in the middle of the trading session range, and really in the middle of the daily range, right? Here's yesterday's high, here's yesterday's low. We're dead set. This presents just an opportunity to get in and structure a trade if you have a thesis that we're going to move, all the way higher or lower right from here without taking into consideration a lot of what's going on. Because if you do take into consideration about what's going on, it's not very helpful, right? Like this isn't doing too much for us. Here's the 9:30 open, choppy, back and forth, back and forth. It's more exaggerated on the 1 minute, pushing, lower at the open, support, coming up higher, pulling down lower, right back up to VWAP. Choppy, not great, not great. But, sometimes we can get some clean structure out of this, right? Market does this first, kind of frustrates everybody for a while. Everybody that gets involved really quick, buying off the highs, selling off the lows. And then it makes a decision and starts to drift lower, right? Usually we don't just chop within you certainly can, but usually we don't just chop in a 50-point range for the entire session, right? We were going to extend that more likely and get some movement. So... yeah, the more I watch this before 11, the more that I'm just leaning that this is just going to be a little bit of consolidation. Maybe we see some movement right before that event. We get some positioning going on right before. But we have 17 minutes until 12 minutes. What do we have? 15 minutes. Sorry. 15, 16 minutes until the IB high and low is set, the 1 hour opening range. It's 10:15 a.m. Eastern. So we'll get that IB high and low set. We know we're more likely to break one side of it, but this is pretty dang tight. It's pretty dang tight unless we start to move. Yes. Yeah. President talks in about 11 a.m. Eastern. That's what I'm looking at. ForexFactory.com. That's the financial news site that I use. You can use whatever you want. Market Watch, Financial Juice. Looking at Financial Juice. 11 a.m. Trump speaks. Anything else crazy that I'm missing out on later into the day? Doesn't look like it. We look okay. Looking out into the week. Tomorrow, Friday, we have 9:45 Flash Manufacturing PMI and Flash Services PMI. And then we got some existing wholesales and revised consumer sentiment at 10 a.m. So Flash at 11:45. That's a red folder event, high impact event. Not crazy, right? Not like an NFP Friday or an FOMC rate, but that's something to pay attention to. Want to be cautious of an increase in volatility, right? If you do nothing else on the fundamental side, which I don't think you need to do too much to be a pretty solid trader on the technicals, you probably want to pay attention to financial news events, when they are, and decide whether or not you're going to have trades on, to put trades on, through them, hold through them, what you're going to do. Yeah, nothing else crazy that I'm looking at. Just checking news sites. Like to do it before I trade, right? Pre-market, pay attention, kind of what's going on. I alert the community. And then just take a quick look. Make sure there's nothing wild. But I don't have squat going on or anything nuts that I'm going to catch something fast enough, right? I'm going to see it in price. That's my game plan. Choppy. Sells looked good, right? Sells looked good down here. Looked like we might want to go break. Check out 850. Head down towards prior day's low. Nope. So, again, If I can display anything for so far on this session, it's just going to be that I'll hang out when I don't have an opportunity to trade, right? Conversely, if I was saying this looks great for sells up here, this looks great for buys down here, that'd be a great read of the market, and we're trading a range and we're cleaning it up. But so far, that's looking like all that would have paid. Retesting VWAP here on the 5-minute, right? Let's look at just NASDAQ. Sometimes I just like to take a quick look and kind of see where the VWAP line is. 904. Ours is at 906 here on the mini. Zoom out, make sure that's reset. Yeah, so, retesting that, holding below. We're really not wanting to take it above this VWAP line that we've really struggled to get above and hold. So, if you're a big VWAP line trader, that's it's looking like good sells off it so far, but I'm just reading this as chop. Barcoding, choppiness, a whole lot of nothing. Range trader's paradise, right? If you're like selling on the way down, you're stacking limit orders. You're buying on the way down, stacking limit orders. Maybe you're selling on the way up, stacking limit orders up here, right? Towards the top of the consolidation, adding, stop loss way up here. You're buying on the way down here. Maybe you have a last buy over here, and then stop loss is right below. I'm not a big fan of complete, just straight up range trading. Don't love that, but I do like. I don't mind getting aggressive with buys and sells, on pullbacks, right? If I have some direction, if I have something to indicate that we're going to do something else next. But we'll see. We'll see. If you're trading, how's your trading going? If you're on here hanging out, let me know in chat. How's your trading going today? Any trades, or are you like me, sitting patient through this chop? Gonna get initial balance setting up pretty soon. Get ready to mark that up. If you guys don't know, initial balance is the 1 hour opening range high and low, right? Those are equal highs, and that's our 930 candle low. Yep. Going to move this until 10:30, right? This won't be set actually until the 10:30 time frame. But got some strong stats behind this, right? We take a look at Edgeful together if you guys like. Just sitting here. Yeah, I feel you, man. I feel you. Listen, that's a lot of trading, right? And there's this interesting dynamic with live trading here with you guys, right? A lot of guys that do it are super scalpers. They're always going to jump on and take a trade. And I've resigned myself to say I don't want to just hop on here and take no trade sessions all day, because that doesn't really show trading, right? It doesn't show executions and then trade management, risk management. But a lot of trading is this, right? If you're not a range trader or you're not a super scalper, this probably didn't present you too much opportunity today. And if you were getting involved, maybe you were taking a lot of unnecessary losses. And what I try to remind myself and guys that I speak to is, at the end of the week, the end of the month, the market doesn't know the difference between lost money and made money. It's going to average all of it and give you that nice P&L number, So on a day like today, saving yourself 2 or 3 losses is just as important as taking 2 or 3 wins, in my humble opinion. Saving capital, preserving capital if you can, right? Outside of just normal losses, which are always going to come, is just as important. So you don't have to trade. It's a really big benefit that we have as retail traders, right? We don't have to have a trade on. You are able to wait for the ideal conditions for you, right? You're able to wait for your edge to present itself, and then trade, and only trade then, and stay calm and patient for as long as you like. So it's actually an advantage. It can be frustrating, right? Because we all want to make progress, but that's the non-linear piece of trading we have to understand, right? You're never going to be able to say, I'm going to make $200 a day, or if I just make X amount per week. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that, because you are anticipating some form of consistency, right? That your edge, your trades will be able to be the same at the same time every day, and it'll present itself in some consistent way. It doesn't work like that at all. We know it doesn't work like that. So it's better to say, here's my capital, here's my edge, here's how I quantify that through back testing and forward testing. I know what I'm looking for, and I wait for that. And when it comes, right, maybe it's multiple times per day, I trade aggressively, I trade without reservation or hesitation, in the words of Mark Douglas. When it's not there, or it's not setting up for you, or even you miss a move and then you don't have a setup, you don't trade. You don't put the trade on, right? It's not missed opportunity. It's just you getting in the market when you're not supposed to be, when your entry criteria is not there, your way to structure risk is not there. So it's difficult to do, especially if you go a couple days of it, or maybe some back and forth weeks. I myself find that, right? Not as bad, like, as we're winning or as we're losing, but with a lot of nothing, a lot of break even or back and forth and just not a lot of progress, I feel myself getting antsy. I'm like, all right, it's time. I come the next day more ready to trade, predisposed to be putting on another trade. That's not good. It's really not good. So nothing wrong with staying patient, man. It's it can be frustrating and a little bit painful sometimes, but the market doesn't pay by the hour. It doesn't pay by the trade, right? Taking more trades, you don't get paid more. Trading more, you're not getting paid more. That's not how this works. So, and that can be a challenge for people, right? Hard worker, you're like, I got to take action. I have to be in the market to make more money. It's not the case. Not the case. Whatever your strategy calls for. If you're a super scalper, great. When your edge is there for your super scalping, I'm assuming. I don't know anybody that is just long or short nonstop all day successfully. I just don't know if that exists. Again, the longer this happens, the less I really want to buy a high or sell a low. I really want to see now more of a continuation. We got about 5 minutes and 20 seconds for this IB high and low to set, this initial balance, right? Here's our 9:30 a.m. on the 5-minute chart. Here is the high that's put in and the low that's put in. If we go to our nice trading tool platform, Edgeful, we know that on NQ of the last year of data, this is the initial balance breakout report. More often than not, right? We're talking right here, 9:30 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. Eastern. 77.91% of the time, we only break one side of the initial balance. So if we break the high, more often than not, we don't come back down and break the low. It does happen 20% of the time. Less than 2% of the time, we don't break either side of that range, right? Along with that, you can look at some additional stuff. This is helping you determine which side would break first. If we put the high in first, more likely the low is going to be broken. If we put the low in first and the high in last, more likely that high is going to be broken, right? If you think about that in terms of like if the market's trending, maybe we put the low in first on the day, market starts to move up, we put that high in next, more likely just, obviously that one is to be broken. It doesn't always work out like that, but we've got some stats behind that. Break it down by performance, taking a look at if and when it breaks, how far does it typically extend, right? The max and then the average. Average, I think, is a little bit more helpful. You can go by weekday and see if there's a skew. Sometimes there is. Wednesday, it's more of a choppy day. I think that's what that's indicating, right? We're more likely to break both the high and the low of the 1 hour opening range. Thursday and Friday, it's even stronger. Monday and Tuesday, it's pretty dang strong too. So, but interesting, right? Strong stat behind it. Does it always have to happen? No, absolutely not, right? 20% of the time, that's a decent number. But more often than not, we have things happening in relation to these levels, and it can be helpful to know about that. Is it enough to combine, is to say, oh, I'm going to have an 80% win rate if I just do this one thing? No, I think you have to combine some things, combine the stats, and then combine it with market structure and price action, right? And use your discretion to say, do I have a good way to structure risk, right? Do I have a clear indication relative to everything else, that is happening, right? Like maybe we are in, like, what's an example of that? Maybe we're in an absolute bear market. Market's ripping to the downside. We set the initial balance high and low, and we are, trending lower, but we pull back and we're at the IB high and we crack the high. Maybe you say, hey, based on market structure and price action, I think it's more likely today to be one of those days where, we're going to go back down and break the low. That's discretion. But you can trade that stuff pretty objectively if you just define some rules around it. But it's a strong stat. There's a lot of those strong stats to pay attention to. I think it's exactly what we as traders are looking for in back testing, right? Like here's a pattern based on this historical price action. What traditionally happens next? How can I react to what's happening here in a favorable way? And Edgeful breaks some of that stuff down for you. So anyway, you can try that stuff for free, 7 days. Link is down there below on that one. Stats for dang near everything, man. Prior days range, opening candles, specific times of the day, right? Like there's a really strong one for power hour. Really strong for power hour that we don't typically put a new high of day or a new low of day in during power hour, which is the last hour of NYSE session, right? On a big trending day or, on days where we're moving, a lot of times I think people are trading towards a close, near the highs. And it's pretty wild to see that it does not happen often at all. It's stronger than the IB stat. It's a very low percentage that in that last hour we're putting a fresh high of day or low of day in. Again, depends on the day though, right? Depends on kind of what market structure and price action looks like. You may be able to filter a little bit for yourself. But if you're, if you're new to trading, if you're looking for different levels that you want to pay attention to, you're going to use time within your trading, some, ideas of time. I think that could be really helpful, which makes it simple, So again, you can try it for 7 days. Links in the description of the video. It's helpful to, obviously have this subscription so you know what's going on because that stuff does change. But maybe you say, oh, it's not for me. I love when companies do trials. Bookmap, for example, is not really a free trial for being able to get set up with that. You need the level 2 data, you need the subscription. So still chopping here. Barcoding, let's take a look at ES, or MES rather. Still holding a stronger pattern to the upside, but overall very choppy. Down around the lows where it looks like we want to test to see if we're going to break. But obviously, we are holding this on the 5-minute to the upside. That's a pretty dang obvious formation of structure, right? In this channel that we might call it on a lower time frame. Pretty similar, as we start to zoom out. And Dow. Dow in its own world, pushing the upside. Opened up near VWAP, pushed really hard off of that, continued a nice run up, and now is pulling back down towards it. So kind of living in its own world as Dow usually does. But we'll keep our eyes on NASDAQ. See. Yeah. I'm going to, again, like right here, right now, I don't know what's going to happen over the next, probably hour that I'm going to be hanging out with you guys on here. If we start to get structure one way or the other, I'm going to look for a trade, right? We start to see this. I'm not going to be a buyer right here at the break, but I'm going to be aware of the stat that we just talked about. If we conversely break out to the downside, I might look for structure to develop and continue, right? I'm not going to be a seller here because maybe we just crack down below and then, pull right back up. I'd want to see that happen, then continue lower, right? And look for a sell maybe on the way down wider stop loss all the way up here, somewhere in that zone, larger movement to the downside. But I have nothing setting up right here, right now, even as we move outside of this zone. What's up, guys? What is going on? Hanging out, watching this super choppy barcoding market. That was a good term. Printing barcodes. That's what we're looking at here. But let's run a little poll. What do you guys think? I think we are headed to the upside. See what you guys think. Poll in the chat. If you answer it, feel free, hit like, hit subscribe, man. Appreciate you guys hanging out with me on here. I'm here free, or I'm planning on being here free almost every day. 9:30 a.m. Eastern, trading NYSE open. Straight from my terminal, showing you executions, showing you the wins, the losses, everything that goes into trading, right? If we get something that sets up, yesterday was some movement, didn't capitalize on that. Was staying patient, and then really didn't get the pullback that I wanted to see, and then a continuation. But like I talked about, if I don't get setups on here, if I don't get trades on here, I'm going to tell you exactly what I'm looking for into the afternoon, as exact as I can be, and then talk about that trade management in the free Discord, which you could hop in. Free on here, free on Discord, 100%. That's the change for 2025 that we're running here, man. Are we gonna break and run to the upside? Let's see if we hold the stat true. So first off on this stat, we got IB high and low formed, right? The next one that comes into play is which side is more likely to break first. Well, like we talked about, the low is put in first, the high was put in second, put in last. The stats say more likely to break this high. Again, kind of obvious. That one is, some of them are not so obvious. That one is somewhat obvious, right? If we are pushing to the upside and that high is getting put in last, we're closer to it, more likely to break. If and when we do break this, we know, which it looks like we're about to right now, more often than not, only 20% of the time do we come back down and break this low throughout the entire trading session. This one's pretty dang tight. So I think today could be one of those days. Along with that, when we do break, we typically extend. We typically don't stop right here. We typically crack to the upside and we put some movement in. We don't typically just sweep it and then come back down for the rest of the session. Does it happen all at once? That's not what the report is stating. It says if we break one side, how far do we typically extend? So, IB high breaking to the upside. Again, looking bullish, super duper choppy. Do I want to be a buyer here in the breakout? No. Is there a trade set up? Sure. If you're the breakout trader, buy the breakout to the upside. Maybe look to structure risk. Like, how would I play this? Maybe look to structure risk in a way that makes sense. Maybe you're buying right as IB high breaks, going way below, playing off the stat way down here. Maybe you go emergency stop, and maybe you look to scale in and drag stop loss up, right? You say, hey, I think we're likely to crack to this upside here, and we want to scale in as we go, and we can kind of move stop loss as we go, just tighten up. Again, like I talked about, not going to take this, just going to wait to see if we get structure, something forming, and look for a larger move. But we do have a breakout to the upside, really from this trading range, from at least the first hour. Market Mischief says, I think price might go up while Trump speaks, but then again, I don't trade fundamentals. We can wait and see what the market provides us. I am in the same boat as you. I don't trade fundamentals either. I'm going to see what price has to say for us. And yeah, if you said you have to make a decision, do you think market's going to go up or down when he starts talking? I'm going to guess up, right? Based on what price has done, right? He was elected, market rallied. We saw, some movement after he took office. He's rolled out some policies that do seem that the market is interpreting it, right? Not my opinion or that I care to make an opinion on it. I won't. I'm just going to talk about what the market is doing and price is doing. We did see some violent movement to the downside right here. That was fairly concerning, right? This was, right at the start of trading session. Big crack to the downside. That was, I think an indication to say, hey, guess what? We got, news, we got info coming out. Market's going to move. Be cautious. We got volatility here. So pushing the upside, at least on this 5-minute candle here. Yeah, again, I'm not looking for it yet. I want to see if we get some structure. The double-edged sword to waiting is you don't catch the breakout, right? Maybe we crack this high right here. And again, if you were playing directly off that stat, you're grabbing a 50 tick trade so far, taking on 25 ticks of heat, only 15 points. But I'm going to wait for some structure. The other side of that double-edged sword is maybe we knife, right? And I don't get structure. Right? I don't get anything that comes like this back and forth. We get this version. We don't get this version. And I don't get a way to structure risk. But again, I think buying right up here and selling right down here, you'd have a tough time already today. You probably would have taken 2 losses. If I was going to get aggressive with that, I would have been buying on the way up here as soon as we're breaking VWAP to the upside. Stop loss down here. Maybe down around the lows. Maybe survive. Probably close out as we come all the way down lower and look to sell as we're starting to head towards the low. And that would have been playing too nice. So not going to trade the breakout of this zone. Wait to see if we get some structure. Maybe we get some movement quickly as he starts moving. But we'll see. We'll see. We get some movement, some volatility. And we'll look to ride that if it's not too violent. But have to find that out. Can't trade CFDs. Yeah, man. You're trading CFDs. You want to look at what the YM chart looks like. Maybe take a look at a difference in price relative to what you're trading. This is the current contract YM. Here you got price right over here. Volume down here. But yeah, trading CFDs is tough. Trading CFDs is tough. Not reliable pricing and volume data. But that's what we're looking at, brother. $20 minutes. I'll be right back for, just give me a minute, guys. I'm going to let my chair trade for me. Back in action with you guys. Let's see what we get. Appreciate you guys hanging out on here through the somewhat choppy market so far. We got a breakout and a retest of IB high. That's not looking terrible for a long. It's really not looking terrible for a long here, right? We got some structure, right? We got what I was looking for to a degree. I could see a long from up here. Definitely see a long from up here. Good morning. What's up, Brian? What's going on? Checking out this choppy barcoding market. Michael, Trump starts yapping about tariffs. I'd expect a big red Twizzler. Yeah, that's possible. Just went long. Yes, stop under IB low. Oh, taking that one back. Yeah, I'm looking at the same on my black. Yeah. This is looking good to the upside. Right? Like I just talked about. Before I let my chair trade for me for a minute, we are, I'm not looking to buy the breakout, right? I'm looking to buy the breakout to the upside, looking for a break and then some structure and a way to say, okay, I think we're going to continue here, right? Maybe we break and come right back down into this range, but I am probably going to wait even further for a break of this high that we put in. I'd like to see what kind of pullback we get. Maybe it comes down even further and gives me a little bit better of an entry, but I wouldn't mind going long this market, right? This is going to be a higher time frame trade. Waited this long, right? We're not scalping this choppy garbage in between here. We are breaking and holding above. I almost like it from right here. To take a long position to say, hey, I think, we are going to continue this higher time frame trend. If we zoom like way out, right? I think we're going to continue this trend. We pulled up. There's definitely a chance that we come back down to this level. This is a pretty serious level right here. If we get down below these lows again, I do think we run, but it does give us a very clear way to structure risk. I would be looking at something along these lines. Again, I don't set hard take profits. If you watch me trade, you know that already. I don't set hard take profits. I'll manage on the way out, way up. Something way down below these lows. I'd even give it a chance to come and check this IB low out. And then continue to the upside. So, kind of what we're looking at here, guys. Looking at a long. Let's just take a look at Bookmap real quick. Give it a chance to pull back down, kind of come through, maybe test VWAP. I would really like that, a test of VWAP and then a continuation, but I'm probably asking for too much on that. Go ahead and get long from all the way up here, guys, and run a wide stop loss. I'm actually going to add on this one. That's not heavy enough for me. I'm going to go really wide. And again, this is something I'm going to look to hold for a larger movement. I'm going to go really wide because I want to allow us to come back into this zone and chop around. I'm not going to wait for that pullback. I'm going to take it from up here. And yeah, I'm okay being a little bit heavier than this. I'm going to get in with 3 contracts as we're starting to push back up on this. So I'm going to be long from long 3 micros from 21, 9, 27, and 3/4. We got a break up out of this area consolidation, holding above VWAP again, break of IB high, break and retest of IB high, and I'm entering on buying pressure coming back up. Not something that I want to run with a stop loss right here near VWAP. Not something that I want to run with a stop loss right in between here. If I did, I'd be stop loss way tighter and way heavier on the position. This is going to be somewhere down here. I'm going to eyeball, and you'll see how I place my positions if we're moving slow like this, right? I give myself time. Take a look and see, what really makes sense. Well, right under IB low makes sense. That would kind of be opportunity number 1. Playing off the stat that this is not going to be one of those 20% days, which doesn't happen often, right? Where we come all the way down and break the low. It's going to be a day where we break this high and at very least Maybe we close red, but on this trade, but we're not coming all the way back down to take us out. I'm going to go even further down below. I just try to make a conscious decision to say, okay, well, if we're going to come down to challenge a low, right? We come down to sweep a low. Do we usually come like one tick below it and having a stop loss like right below it, makes a lot of sense? No, right? We come down below it and, by a few points. So I really like to go wide below a low. If I'm going to, leave room to survive that, that's really not that wide. It's really not that wide. That would allow me to get price to come down below IB low. Just measuring out risk to see what this looks like. I also kind of handle my stops like a chess piece. I really don't like to move it in the opposite direction, right? Like if I decide, hey, here's where the stop loss goes, I don't want to be pulling it back down. So I'm in between leaving on $450 worth of risk and right below the low. I'm going to go below this low for this one for now. Really, really wouldn't want to see the market come all the way back down here if I'm being completely honest. I think if we come down and break this low, we're more likely to continue. And I'm dead wrong on this trade. We're not going to continue the upside. Trump says something wild and we're just going to run the stops and head lower. So for now, I'm going to leave this here, but I think you're also safe coming up tighter. But that's the trade. Long, where would I look to manage this to the upside, right? So option one is we just knife straight down. We take Zach out for $450. Option two, we chop around, in which case we'll look to manage as we go. But this looks like we got some movement to the upside. Here's kind of area number one, right? We want to get back above these 950s, right in these 950s, area where we can kind of consolidate it overnight. Not a major zone. If I zoom way out on the 30, not a major zone, but I'd like to start to see us break this structure, which it looks like we're trying to do right now, right? I want to see us break this, hold to the upside, and maybe run towards prior day high. I think this would be an interesting area, the zone that I have marked on my chart, up near the 22,000 level. That'd be an interesting area to take a look at. Maybe look to manage, get stop loss to break even, take something off. But I'm discretionary with trade management. Some basic rules for myself that I have. So stay on the same page. Long America, what's up? What's up? Basic rules I have for myself. I really, really don't ever really want to be moving stop loss further down, right? I don't want to have a losing position and be widening out stops and continue to move it down. That's a no. Outside of that, I'm very, very flexible. Scaling in profit, scaling out in profit, adding maybe if even in drawdown, if we see something that makes a lot of sense. Traditionally, you don't see me averaging positions down, dollar cost averaging in. It's not my style. It doesn't really work too well for me. But on a trade like this and on these longer hold trades, for the most part, I'm going to put my trade on, mess with it, like get set up, all right? Structure my risk, say, okay, you know what? I want, $450 worth I'm comfortable with, and pretty much leave this. I'm not really going to turn these into scalp trades where I start adding in or doing something crazy. I'm pretty much going to find a spot where I say, I think the move's over based on price action, market structure, levels, volume, order flow, whatever it is, and get out. In drawdown, like I said, the thing starts to turn around, or we just drift lower, or we form structure to the downside. Maybe I exit early. For the most part, I don't mess with these as much, right? On the low time frames, when I'm trading more aggressively, I'm zoomed in. I like to add in profit. I like to tighten up stop loss quickly. I like to get stop loss to break even much quicker. The stop loss is wide like this for a reason, right? Almost 75 point stop loss for a reason, right? I want to let this thing chop around. The thesis is I want to give this room to breathe. I want to buy this strength on the way up after a break and retest on the 5 minute of IB high, but I'm okay with this trade coming back down here, testing VWAP, breaking below, coming down into this area, maybe coming all the way down here to sweep this low, take everybody out that has a stop loss down here, and then continue. My trade is still valid. The invalidation point is down below the lows. That's the thesis. So long America 3 micros 21 9 27 and 3/4. My stop is at 21 853. Very wide, looking for a longer hold on this move. Again, you see me looking at the 5-minute, the 15-minute. The risk that we have coming up here, which everybody should be aware of, right? We have Trump speaking at 11 o'clock. This can work very in our favor or against us, very poorly or very well. So it's not a red folder news event like NFP or, an FOMC or Jerome Powell speaking, where I say, okay, I'm not going to be in at all because I think the market's going to go absolutely crazy. I'm going to trade this as I see fit based on price action and market structure the way that I would, any other day. But I think it's very important to recognize we got something going on with U.S. politics. This can absolutely knife down quickly. It can knife in your direction. Be prepared for that. Whatever risk you put on the market, get that stop in. Recognize you can be slipped, right? He could say something or, like someone said, talk about tariffs or whatever it is. I don't know how to interpret any of this stuff. Not the fundamentals guy, but I know price can knife down and maybe slip me by, a bit. So that's the acceptance that you have to have. Put your risk on and accept it. That's it. Brian C., appreciate you, man. Appreciate you. Yeah. Again, I think also trading this way, guys, it gives me a lot of time to really talk about what I'm seeing, right? Really explain what I'm doing. If I'm on here scalping really, really aggressively, it's hard to talk about what I'm doing and explain why I'm doing it. It happens so fast. I think some of you guys have been with me, on some of the lives where I've been really aggressive, and it could be dicey. But this is pretty much a higher time frame for intraday trading, right? Not higher time frame when we're talking about guys trading the daily and the, looking at the weekly chart and holding for multiple days. Something that's going to be closed out at the end of the session at the latest. But looking for the larger move, right? Waiting for the market to open up, waited a considerable amount of time after the first hour of trading where we kind of let the volatility come in, whatever to happen, and run a wide stop, allow the market to breathe, allow the trade to breathe, and anticipate what the move may be based on historical price action and market structure and structural risk in a favorable way, right? This is something that I believe has the potential to move, right? I think this can be a larger day. At very least, I think we can push to the upside, give us a way to structure risk and say, okay, you know what? Maybe the market runs all the way up here. We leave it on because we're holders, we're diamond hands, and we don't want to see it come all the way back down and stop us out. You go stop loss to break even. You cut risk in half. Numerous ways you can manage the trade. But that's what I'm looking at here. Just thinking out further, if we knifed down lower in the next 5 minutes because it gets super volatile at this conference, and I am just I'm wrong for having even a wide stop loss with 300 ticks in 75 points. I'm probably not going to jump into another trade. I would look to wait, maybe see what forms for the rest of the day. If something really nice presents itself, we go for that. But that's the thought process on this one, guys. Again, just a little bit, more conservative, I think would be a tighter stop, up about another 10 points. I'm okay risking it. I'm really, again, not allowing a lot of room to breathe down here. Which if I run a stop below low, I really like to be like really far below this. But I'm far enough away from IB low to say, okay, maybe we, in an instance where we come down really quickly, we get close to IB low, we tap IB low, we get below this area of consolidation right here. And I survived that, for a difference of $100 or whatever it is. Yeah, 22,990s on NQ, previous day value area. Let's see, Brian with the levels. Yeah, 21,990s on NQ. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Yeah, right up into the zone, right? Bottom of the zone. Yep. Versus when we open below it. Yeah, I like the idea. Appreciate you sharing, Brian. Shooting for all-time highs on ES today. Yeah, absolutely, man. Andre says looking like long America. Love to see it. Longer time frames just feel a tad bit easier. The extra time you get to think is very beneficial when you're operating in an uncertain environment. Yeah, I'd agree with that, right? Listen, I think it's going to be different for everybody and their own styles. You're going to have to find what works for you. And there's, again, double-edged sword to everything. I think some of the benefits of zooming out a little bit, right? Just going for a little bit longer of a hold time, wider stop loss, wider take profit, smaller position size. These are the things that what you would kind of change. You definitely give yourself more time to think. That's just, a fact. You have way more time to think. I think you are also allowing for a lot lower time frame noise to happen. A lot of these rapid movements that could happen when you're looking at the 1 minute chart and you're structuring trades off of, lows on the 1 minute or even lower. When you're zoomed out, running a wider stop loss. And I think it can also be helpful for anybody struggling with like over trading or over risking, right? If you are limiting yourself to wait and likely only take maybe 1, 2, 3 trades max, right? If you're trading, with pretty wide stops and larger movement, you don't really give yourself an option to take a quick loss right off the open, get frustrated, jump right back in, trade 10 more times, and before you even know what happened, 20 minutes have gone by, you hit your max loss limit, and you weren't trading anything. You were just fighting a P&L. So there's benefits that way for sure. Some drawbacks, maybe it's less opportunity. Maybe you are someone that likes to see a trade go right to take profit and or stop loss, and holding a trade is going to be a massive challenge for you. You're just not going to be able to do it. So it's down to the individual, but I think for anybody struggling on lower time frames, maybe, zooming out can be helpful. I still do really like getting aggressive on NQ. It's a lot of momentum, a lot of movement. I really like the 5-minute 100 tick, 15-minute 100 tick combination to get aggressive. Using Bookmap, you're able to get some really high probability trades. But it can be wicky, man, and it can be frustrating on some days because, there's days where I'm getting aggressive. I'm trying longs over and over and over again. I get stopped out back to back to back, and, it is I have direction right, and, I'm just not structuring risk in a way that makes sense. Okay, so we got 11 a.m. We typically see some volatility right around this time frame, 11 a.m. Eastern, but also this is the time that Trump is scheduled to speak. So risk is on, trade is on. If we have to take the full stop out, we will take it in stride as part of the game. Most guys, from what I've seen, especially recently, are running a very modest win rate and risk to reward, at least the reality of it. Most that you see that are making big money at prop firms have a pretty mild win rate, 30s, 40s%. Most are not over 50%, and a nice positive risk to reward. They're making more on their winners than they are on their losers. Not everybody. We got guys in the 60%. Most of them are running a much more modest or negative risk to reward. Value acceptance in ES. We'll see, Brian. Again, man, just playing off the stats, right? You put your trades on in somewhat of a consistent way, and I apply quite a bit of discretion to my trading. So there's days when I'm going to be better or worse at interpreting that, but you let the odds play out, right? So this trade's on. There's going to be half or more that are just going to be losers. That's going to be a fact, right? Going to be losing trades, and got to be okay with that on the front end. That allows you to be here watching it and manage it if you're going to actively manage your trade, or to hold on to it, right? When it starts to move in profit and it shows us $30 and you go, oh man, I want to close it now for $20. I don't know. It's kind of chopping around and Trump's going to talk and I don't know, how that's going to play out. Do your back testing, do your forward testing, find what you need to find. So again, on this one, I am running a wide stop. Like I said, outside of a knife down or a very aggressive candle to the downside, if we chopped lower, I don't know if I wanted to realize all that loss, right? Like in an instance where we do something like this, or maybe we crack higher, I don't close, I don't move stop loss to break even, we start to come lower, we test lows, we fail to move higher again, we start to come lower. Maybe I close, for half the risk. I get out for, a fraction of my initial stop. But on the front end, fully have to accept this, that at any point knife down. On the way up, again, I am looking at the bottom of the zone that Brian pointed out, right around the 22,000 level, 21,990s. We got liquidity up there. I could see us coming to check out higher than that. And if we do get all the way up there after pulling back, I like this for a bullish move, man. I like us back towards prior day high. I like this potentially above it. This is the moves that you have to hold on to if you're going to run a fairly wide stop loss and realize some of those stop outs. You've got to hold for those larger winners. So we'll see. We'll hang out for a little while longer, like I talked about, and run these streams usually for a couple hours. And just like on Monday, we had a winning trade on, or it was actually right around break even when I got off the stream. Let you guys know exactly what the game plan was and keep you updated in Discord. If I go ahead and manage, to the best of my abilities, I will update you. Do the same thing today, unless we get stopped out or we run to the upside. So anyway, couple options could be looking at an area to take profit up here. You could say, you know what? That 22,000 level is a pretty big line in the sand. That would be a take profit 1. That would be giving me probably a little bit less than a 1-to-1. That'd be right at a 1-to-1 or close to 1-to-1. Maybe you take off, 1 or 2 contracts there. Stop loss to break even, hold a runner for the larger movement. Depends on what it looks like. But that's probably what I'd be looking at. Maybe starting to manage up near and above that 22,000 if we moved up that way. Let's just get the higher time frame look one more time, right? Zoom out. Don't look bad, guys. Don't look bad. Again, I like this setup. I think we come lower, we're either just going to chop around. It's going to be a frustrating day, which is cool. I take losses on those days, or we continue way lower. If we get down below session lows, we crack down below, the 21,900s. Maybe we're going to check out the low instead. But I like this to the upside. I think we come back up, check this zone out. Maybe it's going to be choppy, but I could see this as a move to the upside. Again, I think it also depends a little bit on whatever that speech is going to be, whatever Trump's about to say. So, chart going to reset, maybe. There we go. Ryan says, due for a winner. 30% win rate right now, 8 those 10 losses in a row like a champ. Hell yeah, man. Yeah, listen, that's part of it, right? That's part of it. Part of it, man. It happens. They come. That's why you manage risk. It's why you accept it on the front end. But eventually it feels like you're due for a winner, and you are, right? There's probabilities of consecutive winners and losers, and the more time you go on one end, the more likely it is to happen. But it's best, I think, just to do what you did, take it on the chin and keep executing. Just keep focusing. If that's your game plan, if your preset plan is to not adjust risk or anything like that, keep doing what you're doing, man. 10-day period average session range at 22.1. So statistically, you got tons of room. 10-day period average session range at 22.155. Nice. Nice. I think an ADR 155. Yeah. I've got if you were just going off ADR from yesterday, I like to do that every once in a while. Take a look on the chart and mark up from the open of the new daily candle to the upside and downside. That's almost 100 points above. That's it's close to that level that you mentioned there. 22 180s, somewhere around there, for the way that I marked that level off. So there's room to the upside. I do like to pay attention to that, if we're super far extended one way or the other. But for the most part, I'm going to just be looking at price action, market structure, you know, where we've got big areas of volume, consolidation, big impulsive moves. So not doing too much yet. Buyer's not ripping this thing higher. A little bit choppy. We got the nice pop up. We got acceptance higher so far. I'd be okay with a retest of VWAP. Let me zoom back in and out. Be okay with a retest of VWAP. Okay with a retest down of this temporary, you know, volume point of control, right? If I zoom out, I think it still stays down here for a bit. Maybe we pop back up here. You know, this area of consolidation, I'd be okay with that. Down below here, it'd be tough. I'd love to see us just rip from here, obviously, not take any heat. But again, something I'm going to be looking to hold for a larger period of time. See, is he speaking yet? Don't know that he's talking yet. Yeah, we could see some wild Trump begins. Okay, yeah, he's talking 2 minutes ago. We'll get some live updates. Again, we have a noted high impact news event going on right now, where we've got a speech going on, and that can be interesting. Can easily say something that the market does not like, and or at least say something and be perceived as something that's, you know, negative for the market, and we could see wild volatility out of this. Opposite, we could see some nice volatility to the upside. But again, even more important to recognize your risk, accept it, right? Structure it, and then accept it and say, hey, I know right now that this candle can just wick down, and you know, I'm out for this amount or maybe worse if we get slipped. That allows you to stay objective. But we'll see if any updates come out of this one. Looks like he started talking like 6 or 7 minutes after the hour. Let's see if I can pull anything up on it while we're hanging out, right? Because not too much management that I'm going to be doing on this right off the bat. And nothing really that I would manage. Nothing that I'd be fast enough managing based on what someone's saying. But let's see. Yeah, TopStep TV has got it on. I'll be on TopStep TV tomorrow, by the way, guys. I'll be on there at... What time am I supposed to be on there? 2:15 p.m. 2:15 p.m. Eastern. Be hanging out with those guys. Pretty short segment. I think it's only like 30 or 45 minutes, but be fun to jump back on there. We'll see. We'll see what the market thinks. But if you're still on here, I'm going to put it in chat. Hit the like button, boys and girls. Slam the like button, guys and girls. And if you want to hop in the best free futures trading Discord. Whoa, we got volatility. I don't like what he's saying right here. I'll tell you that much. Let's see. Again, not a whole lot to manage on this one. On a big knife down, if we had structure to the downside, you know, maybe I'd look to be cautious with this. But again, on a big knife down, sweep below these lows, I'm out. I'm out for the full loss. Walked away. No, I didn't miss too much, man. Just some volatility to the downside. Coming back down pretty aggressively towards the center of this area of consolidation. Let's see. We'll see. Again, you know, I like this trade. I like this setup. I like this structure. I waited patiently to get what I needed to get to put this trade on. I like where risk is. You can be really wide, like way down here, and allow for a crack below and a continuation. But this is about as wide as I'm going to go on a trade like this. And if information is going to come out that price is going to print negatively, that's part of it, right? Part of it. Put the trades on, let them play. And yeah, man, that's part of live stream with you guys. Take wins, losses. Like I said, we're going to see the good, the bad, win streaks, losing streaks, break even, boring stuff, money made, lost accounts, right? Lost combines and XFAs. See all that fun stuff. But again, man, hit the like button if you're on here. Hit subscribe. You don't have to do anything, but it helps me out. Help me, help you, help another trader. And hop in the free Discord, man. 1,400 members, 100% free Discord. You can ask me questions. We talk about the markets. You get really, really awesome analysis from added on that pullback. There you go. From savages like Brian, who's adding on the pullback, who's been sharing really, really awesome hypotheses for his trading on ES, man. So it's been great. Been great. Love to see you guys in there. Link is in the chat. Links down below. You trade with prop firms, you trade with any paid software, use any paid software, check out my links down below, man. That'd be a beautiful ad if this actually holds up, but here's some volatility, right? Markets for now, at least, interpreting what's going on. We've got an increase in volatility, right? Looking at the 5-minute chart, this will probably be even more exaggerated. Here's the benefit of knowing that there is a high impact news event. Is it a surprise that, 10 minutes after 11, 5 minutes after 11, that we had some quick volatility to the downside? We've got some price movement. We got volume being traded. Look at the volume behind that right there. Large amount of volume, right? Just under the open. No, not a surprise. You can decide how you want to structure your risk around these times. Maybe you say, I'm not going to trade through anything that shows red folder or potential for high impact or orange folder. You could say, I'm going to trade smaller size. I'm going to widen out stop losses because, maybe on another day I'm long from here with a stop loss below, 5-minute low, and that sucks to get stopped out. Plenty of ways you could do it. You could say, I'm only going to trade during news because I like that volatility, and I'm going to trade off that momentum. So. Down. Yeah, man, just hop on here. I'll tell you, hop on here, hop in the Discord. I literally just started streaming again. I'm gonna be doing it live every day, straight from these accounts, and stick around. That's gonna be the best way to check this stuff out, or come check back in a while and decide. But you'll see it live here. Yeah, this is interesting, man. This is interesting. Can I pull it up live? That'd be pretty sweet. Maybe like with captions. Let's see. They're updating it. Trump hails golden age of U.S. revolution of common sense. Okay. Here we go. Trump calls on world business leaders to produce products in the U.S. Trump has launched into a speech very much focused on his domestic policies. It's now shifted to a global audience, at least business leaders. Yeah. Again, fun to read. But again, the way that I deal with fundamentals, the way that I deal with news, stuff like this, I have no idea, man. I think it's a loser's game to try to predict it. I really do. I think even if you're right, you're not going to be right fast enough. And even when you should be right, a lot of times you're wrong. So, when I first started trading, and even for a while, I really tried to interpret news. I tried to figure out what the rate, the forecast was, and then what the actual, what it should do if it's above or below when it comes out. And the market would just do whatever it wants to do anyway. A lot of times, even if you were right, you didn't survive whatever that initial move was. So I'm technical in that sense. I think price is king. It's going to get printed. We're going to see it firsthand. That was a nice retest and an immediate pushback up with bulls holding on to it. We come back down through this. I don't like it as much. Really don't like it as much, right? Here's our market structure and price action to the upside. This looks good, right? Break out of this area consolidation. Retest, continue, right? Looking long to the upside. Not continuing higher yet. We get a really aggressive pullback down and then right back up to the highs. I'd love to see the break and run right there. We're not doing that now, right? We are retesting, put a low in here. Now we're going to come back down towards VWAP to the middle of this zone. We come down below this low again and start to hold down here. Less faith. I have less faith in the trade. But again, I'm going to hold on to this one. I really see myself either taking a full stop out or this being a nice larger winner, or maybe a stop for break even, or partial and break even at the end of the day. That's kind of the outcome that I see for this one. Unless we drifted, like I talked about, we got a lot of structure, not right here, right now during this volatility, that would indicate it's much more likely that we're going to continue lower just based on price action and market structure. And the upside opportunity has started to diminish because of the time element, right? If I'm near break even, for example, on a longer hold trade, late into the afternoon, do I want to leave really, really wide risk on and anticipate a potential larger move to the upside? Maybe not. I just don't think we don't think we have time to do it. I don't think we have time to have that happen. So that's the discretionary piece, but yeah, I would have loved to see this 5 and 15 minute candle take off from here. That would have been sweet. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Yeah. Volume candle to add in is a play. I agree. It's a bold move to add as it's ripping to the downside, but I think a add after a pullback or as we're coming back up near the close or at the close of a lower time frame candle, maybe something like that on the way back up. Yeah, that's a solid play. But again, watch this for the 15 minute. Hang with you guys till around the 11:30. Yeah, 11:21, 11:30. Watch this thing play out. Again, before we get there, let me talk about this. Here's the game plan for me, right? An instance where I get stopped out. Done deal. We form a lot of structure. We keep trying highs and then come back in. There's a time where I manage this. where I clipped the trade early, right? It likely would not happen within the next, next 30 minutes to an hour, right? I'm probably going to give this some time to play out, to breathe. But if we form a lot of structure to the downside, headed back down towards my stop loss, I may clip this for, a little bit less than whatever that number is right there. $449 here on 3 micros. If we push to the upside, areas that I'm looking, right? This 22,000 level, right in the middle of this zone, right? That's kind of line in the sand number 1. Want to see what happens if we get up here. How do we get up here, and what happens when we get here? This could be a potential area to manage. Maybe take partials off, move stop loss to break even. Maybe close the entire thing. Maybe do nothing. Just that part just depends, right? Discretionary trade management. But I'm likely going to do something. I'm going to take some action on the way up here, right? Past that, if we were really aggressively pushing to the upside, prior day high. I'm looking at this next zone. I think that would be a very large movement to capture. Prior day high or potentially above if I had a runner on. But that's kind of my ideas, right? Here's management to the upside. Full stop out if we do anything close to coming back down on me right now. We come up here, here's an example. We kind of chop around, we retest again, I survive, we come back up, we fail to move higher again, and we head lower, and we break this low. Do I think now we're just going to turn around from here and run? Probably not, So there's certain instances where I'm going to clip a loser short. But it'd probably be a little bit later. On the way up, 22,000 and 22,100, right? Up around prior day's high, 22,100. That's what we'll be looking. Yeah. So again, man, if you guys are on here, hit the like button, hop in the free Discord, join me every day live here, 9:30 a.m. Eastern. We'll be more than happy to have you with me. Subscribe to the channel. You'll see all these stay up. Hop in the Discord. You'll get the links. You get the reminders. You'll get the management, right? I'm going to do my best. I move on with my day. I have meetings and things that I got going on. But I do my best to let you know if and when I'm managing these trades. Potential to be in a meeting, and that's why I'm talking about it right now. After I get off, I'll set some alerts and say, hey, you know what? TradingView alert right at 22,000. Want to see what that looks like if we come up here. TradingView alert, down around the stop loss as we get closer, and then somewhere up here. That's the game plan. PA's disgusting. Yeah. It's choppy, man. It's choppy. Again, I talked about it earlier, right when I hopped on. Risk of this being a choppy day. This could be ugly and kind of come back down and chop around, right? We had some larger movement over the last few days. This may be the choppy day. Very well may be the choppy day. So, again, exercise caution, right? We got a red folder news event going on, high impact news event. So if you're going to trade, accept whatever risk you put on, put a stop loss in. Dear Lord, put a stop loss in. So volatility's coming to the downside, but holding VWAP for now. We'll see. So again, on that note, guys, I'm going to wrap it up with you here. Right about 2 hours on the stream. Yeah, a minute away from 2 hours on the stream. Appreciate you guys being on. Thank you. Feel free. Hop in the Discord, like I said. Subscribe. Check the links out down below if you trade with prop firms. If you use any paid software, you want to check out Edgeful, you want to check out Bookmap, like I was talking about. Those are either free trials for Edgeful or discounts on Bookmap, and then a whole bunch of other codes, man. But I will see you here live again tomorrow, and be chatting with you on this trade, likely at some point today, in Discord. Talk to you guys later. Thanks for being here. Trade well. Oh, lastly, again, not a financial advisor, right? Nothing I say or do here is financial advice. I'm just an idiot on YouTube telling you about my trading. Not a suggestion or recommendation to do anything. This is for entertainment purposes only. Trading's risky. Almost everybody loses money trading. You're probably going to lose money too if you decide to trade. So make your own decision on that. Talk to you guys soon. See you here tomorrow.